we are looking at the Piega, Swiss company, Premium Wireless 301. This is a bundled collection of components which are normally sold separately. So the speakers are normally sold separately, and there's a wireless unit, again, normally sold separately. But in this particular setup, the company is selling the little wireless unit and a couple of stand-mounted speakers together as one package. Price-wise, we're looking at £1 less than 2,000. You're saving money. The speakers on their own are normally 1,999. The little wireless unit, which I'll get to in a second, is 499. So you're saving £500 here, which is pretty good value as a set. So what is that set? Well, as I say, pair of speakers, both individually powered, both individually have their own mains cable, 9 kilograms each. Why so heavy? Well, it's the anodized aluminium chassis, which is tough, heavy, feels quite solid. The other part of this system is called Connect. It's a little box about so big, and basically it's a separate digital interface. The Connect talks to the speakers via a Wi-Fi network. It's set up by the Piega system, and it's controlled by the Piega system. It has nothing to do with your own Wi-Fi setup. This is a sort of mesh type Wi-Fi network, and they basically talk to each other on this network. The Wi-Fi network itself is strong. I never had any issues with the Connect box talking to the speakers, and if you ever did have issues on the rear of the Connect box, you can change the frequency of the Wi-Fi signal itself, so you can always maintain the highest quality signal in your particular listening room, which is a good thing. So how does this operate? Well, basically you have your powered speakers. As I say, they have a mains cable each, so you plug them into the mains separately. You have little old-fashioned toggle switches on the back of the speakers. So each speaker can be the left speaker or the right speaker. You can move the toggles to say which one you prefer, or you can have each speaker as a mono speaker, or you can have one speaker as a mono speaker. So there's lots of variations here. The system itself can be part of a multi-room system, so you can have multiple pairs of 301 speakers in different rooms, and you can select zones on the back of the speaker and also at the back of the Connect box to facilitate all of that, which is very nice. Both the speaker and the Connect box can be connected wired in a wired fashion, so the 301s can be used, say, off the back of a streamer as just a pair of powered speakers. The Connect box can be connected to, say, an amp without a DAC. So the Connect would basically serve as a digital sort of interface, a DAC, etc., for an amp. But I wouldn't buy this for its wired facilities. I'd see the wired facilities as a secondary bonus add-on. Get this for its Wi-Fi wireless features. That's the main reason you want to buy this Piega setup. At the rear of the Connect box, you've got a range of digital inputs, which is great. And you also have a pair of analog RCAs, which is very useful. So basically what you're looking at is a system which is subservient to the source, a system which is controlled by a source. So this particular Piega system doesn't have a remote control. It's not controlled by an app. Basically, you connect it to a source and you depend on the source having a control system, the source having a remote, the source having an app. It's that way around. So the 301 basically can connect to anything. It's not a standalone system. It's basically something you slot in to another source. That source can be a CD player, can be a television, a streamer, network player, whatever. Inside the 301 speakers, you'll find a digital sound processor, also a Class D amplifier pushing out 100 watts. So there's quite a lot of power there. On the Connect box, you'll find volume buttons, left and right. And in the middle, you'll find a pairing button, which offers pairing for Bluetooth. So you can stream sound, music from your phone, tablet, etc. And before we get to the sound tests, just to mention that the speakers themselves are a two-way design featuring a 140mm mid-bass unit and also a ribbon tweeter at the top. To begin the sound tests, I streamed a lossy file, Paul McCartney, Kisses on the Bottom LP, I recall. So I streamed that using an iPhone via Bluetooth, and the lossy file itself is compromised. It's not a great quality file in itself. Also, the phone as a delivery system is not the best, but receiving that information, it processed it in a very nice way. For example, the stereo image, I've heard some Bluetooth streams sound quite flat, almost like a flat 2D canvas. And because of that, if you get no sound depth, no 3D sort of depth, your ears fail to locate the vocal and the guitar and the upright bass and the drums. They sort of float. They're not fixed. You have a sound stage which has a little bit of depth, then your ears are better able to position everything. And that's what happened with the Piega. The stereo image had that 3D depth, so you had McCartney's voice fixed, you had the upright bass then positioned to his right, and there was a piano a little bit further to the right, and so on. So everything began to be organised because you had this bit of depth, and it was very nice because of that. Also, on this one track, I have heard some Bluetooth systems where the piano doesn't almost sound as though it's attached to the rest of the band. It sounds faded and as if it's being played in a corridor next door, not even in the studio. With the Piega, the piano was brought right up in the mix, and it sounded as though it was part of the gang. And because of that, because the piano was added to the mix, whereas previously in other systems it was away somewhere, because you had that extra piano, same with the upright bass incidentally, the entire presentation sounded more complex, more interesting to the ear. The ear was constantly picking out little details here and there. Now, I remind you, this is a lossy file. It's not very good in terms of sound quality. And yet the way the Piega presented Bluetooth, it did it in a very informative way. It created an occasion. It entertained. And that was a great thing. So that was Bluetooth. I then plugged in an Astle & Kern digital music player into the rear of the Connect through the optical port and played a little bit of Bob Marley and was impressed by the solidity of the music. This is a 24-bit 96K file. The sound was mature, it was solid, neutral. I was impressed by the sort of weight of the bass, but it didn't drag, it was quite nimble. The bass was, it's sort of quite vibrant, and it didn't it wasn't boomy at all, it was quite focused. During this time, one thing I did note about the Piega was it worked best with the volume up. If you're looking for a system where you're looking to play music maybe late at night, you're worried about the rest of the family or the neighbours, and you're looking for low volume performance, the Piega is okay, it just doesn't perform at its best. You really need to give it a bit of volume. I'm not talking about shaking the windows volume, just normal, fairly high-ish normal volume, that sort of area, okay? It performs best. It needs a bit of a kick to get it moving. But low volume, it's like, so late night low volume I'm talking about. So just be aware of that. It's a fairly niche listening requirement, I must admit, but I thought I'd mention it. Next up, I connected a CD player. I added a Lima Elements. This is about £1,200 worth of CD player. I was a little bit worried about connecting a CD player and what sort of sound I'd get from it, because you're converting a signal from digital to analog, and then because of the Piega, back to digital again. So I wonder whether all those conversions would reduce sound quality. But that wasn't really the case. I was pretty happy with the mid-range. It was very smooth. The ribbon tweeter on the speakers were excellent, very fine and light and fragile, very happy with that. If I was going to be super critical, I'd say there was just maybe a slight reduction in dynamic reach. The dynamic range was just slightly reduced, but I'm being picky here. If I was going to play CD, I wouldn't actually attach a CD player to it. I would attach a transport, because the Connect has a DAC. So what I would do, and it has a coax, the Connect system, the box, the Piega box. So what I'd do, I'd pick a transport. I'd pick a 6000 CDT from Audiolab. I'd connect that straight into the back of the Connect, and I would use that instead. In fact, that's what I did. Sound was an awful lot better, a lot more open, spacious. The mid-range sounded grander and more informative, a lot more detail, clarity, and it was enhanced. It's a cheaper way of doing it as well, because you're only paying $379 for the Audiolab. So I'd go that route. I wouldn't buy a CD. If you've got one, if you've got a CD player, fine. If you haven't and you want to connect the CD player to the Connect box, get yourself an Audiolab 6000 CDT. Far cheaper, far superior. When I did that, the shoe was on the other foot, as it were, because the Connect then showed its limitations. Again, I'm being picky, but there was a slight, I don't know, just a slight mid-range edge to the DAC in the Connect. It showed that the Connect is not a high-flying DAC. It's good, it's just not superb. So again, but I'm being picky here, because generally speaking, the performance was excellent. So I'm just being ultra picky, but I was very happy with it overall. In conclusion, I think the premium wireless 301 system from Piega is excellent. I love it. And there's one thing I must add. I have seen, I'm not going to name names, but I have seen one or two reviews which criticise the fact that the Connect box is separate and is not part of the speakers to make the whole speaker thing more compact. I actually think that criticism is a positive. I actually prefer the Connect box to be separate, because all hi-fi bits should be separate. You want to reduce high frequency noise. The more boxes you separate and distance from each other, the less high frequency noise that you will infuse in your hi-fi, the better the sound quality. So I actually applaud Piega's decision to separate the Connect box from the speakers. Just doing that, just creating the space between the two, removes that high frequency noise element, improves sound quality. Overall, I think this system is excellent, great value for money, especially with the bundling and the lowering of the price. You know, you're looking at a £2,500 system for £2,000. It's compact, it's neat, it's tidy, it's solid, it's well made. I love it. It's great. So check it out. Definitely worth a demo. Okay? That's it. That's me done for this particular video. Thank you for joining me. Please join me on the next video, and until then, I will say farewell.